Whatever are you talking about?
After resolving the question of the Hannekin Hare and being elevated to the position of Master Huntsman of Tamburg, Henry journeyed back to wtih to defend his crown as tournament champion. Of course, Henry emerged victorious, but while handing Henry his prize, Sir Hannush said that he wanted to discuss a delicate matter with him, and it turned out to be a delicate matter indeed.
Henry! Just the man I want to see. I need help with something.
What's the problem, sir?
The Archbishop's vicar has come to Uzhitz. I don't know why exactly, but the rumor is that he's on the hunt for heretics, which frankly never meant any good, especially for me.
I'm sorry, but I'm not really up on religious ranks, sir. What does a vicar do, exactly?
You don't have to apologize. It's the devil's own work to make sense of their twisted hierarchy. The vicar is short for vicarious, meaning in place of. He has full power to act on his superior's behalf. In this case, sadly, the superior in question is that nincompoop, Archbishop Hare of Hassenburg.
What should I do about him, then?
Firstly, find out why he's really here. He might truly be on the hunt for heretics, which wouldn't be good news. Or it's equally possible he's here to size up my estate, which would be even worse.
I understand. And then what?
The best thing for me and all concerned would be for him to pack his bags and go back to Prague.
And how can I, encourage him to do that? I can't just kick him out, can I?
No, of course not. But if you can make him believe there's nothing to find here, he'll be off in no time. So tell him I've sent you to assist him.
I understand. And my task is to assist him in finding nothing.
Indeed.
Are you at odds with the Archbishop in some way, sir?
No, I've never even seen him. But that's no guarantee he doesn't have his eye on my estate.
But how could he get his hands on it?
He's an archbishop. They have long fingers, my boy. And now, without the king around, it's the perfect time to amass a nice little hoard. Believe me, I know. They say in Prague that he's a complete dolt. But I rather doubt that.
Why?
All the Hare clan are as shrewd as they come. I know that better than most.
And what if there really are heretics?
My boy. Have you ever seen a heretic?
No.
There, you see. I haven't either. Most of the time the prelates just invent them, to scare folk with. So don't put much faith in their existence.
But
what if there really are some? Then deal with them. But make sure that interfering bastard gets out of here.
Very well. I'll get going straight away.
Good luck, lad. And be careful. Clergymen are wily weasels. So take care.
I'll be careful. Don't worry, Sir Hannush. God save, Monsignor. My name's Henry, and I've been sent by Sir Hannush of Lipa.
Sir Hannush, And why is he sending you?
I'm to assist you in your search.
Oh, I see. How considerate of him. Well, you've come at the right time. I need someone who'll go unnoticed among the locals. I'm sure Sir Hannush told you what I'm doing here.
He said you're looking for heretics?
Exactly. I'm seeking out the sores that inflict the body of the church. The rash of heretics. Waldensians. Dangerous heretics, one and all.
How did you conclude there are heretics here?
We caught one in Gutenberg. He confessed to everything, including meeting up with others in Uzhitz a few times.
And that was all he told you?
By the end, all his strength had left him, so he couldn't even put together a list.
But that doesn't necessarily mean any of them are from Uzhitz. Maybe they just meet here.
That is indeed possible, but I want certainty, not conjecture.
I'm guessing he didn't speak willingly?
Of course not.
Little wonder his strength deserted him in the executioner's clutches. It's a pity. He might have known more.
My lad, guard your tongue. It's unwise to question the ways of Mother Church. Heretics are a conquer on the body of the Church. Do you know what's to be done with such an ulcer? You take the hot iron to it and burn it out. It may hurt. It hurt me too, to have to cause the man to suffer. But it had to be done for the well-being of the Church.
Who are these Waldensians? I've never heard of them.
Really? Then you've either not been paying attention in church, or the parish priest in wtih is too idle to read out the bishop's missive to the congregation. Both possibilities are equally disturbing, but I'll allow you the benefit of the doubt and assume it's the latter. But to answer your question, it's a heretical sect.
I gathered that much, but what form does the heresy take?
Look, boy, I don't have time right now to embark on theological disputation. Besides which, it's not something you need concern yourself with. Suffice it to say, they are heretics.
How can I help you then?
I know how to get to where the heretics congregate.
And what's stopping you from going there, sir?
That is to say, I know in theory. The crux of the matter is this. We caught a heretic in Kuttenberg who told us of the heretics in Uzhitz. Regrettably, by the time he got around to describing their meeting place, he was already raving and hardly coherent.
I see. So do you know where they meet up, or don't you?
Possibly. His account was confused, to say the least. I have a record somewhere here. Can you read, boy?
Naturally, Father. Otherwise Sir Hannush wouldn't have sent me.
I see. It's a good thing at least the servants of the nobility are getting a suitable education. Some of their own offspring can hardly write their own names. Here's the record of the interrogation. From what I can make out, his description of the route starts at the local tavern. Once you've found something out, come back and see me.
No, I can't. Sorry.
I would have expected Sir Hannush to send me someone literate at least. Well, never mind. I'll read it to you. But I'll give it to you to take to Sir Hannush anyway. No doubt he'll want to see it.
Sir, I'm a blacksmith's son. I usually help Sir Hannush with things... well, with things that don't demand much education.
Good God. Well, I can't blame you for that, my child. But it seems Sir Hannush hasn't much respect for me, sending me such a lackey. I began my pilgrimage in Uzhitz, a den of iniquity where the people were drinking and fornicating. So I left that corrupt place at once. The only place I could make out was the local tavern. And at once I saw another abomination, the temple of the bride of the Antichrist, with the proud Babylonian tower. I went past it quickly towards the rising sun. When I left the village, I came upon a crossroads and didn't know which way to go. So I fell on my knees and prayed, and my prayer was heard, for the finger of Christ rose from the ground to show the right path. On I went, through this sinful land, and suddenly I heard the sound of a 1,000-headed crowd at work, and I saw their queen and their towers. I journeyed further on, and all at once there rose from the ground the jaws of the behemoth, and his broken teeth jutted up to the heavens like the tombstones of the Moabites. So I went through the mouth of the beast, and by the road I saw the abode of the apostles Peter and Andrew. I was hungry, so I took the fruits of their labors and filled my belly. Then I left their house and saw 2 widows weeping and keening. I wept with them, and they let me sleep in their shadow. I went further along the edge of the world, and saw the ribs of the great Leviathan washed up by the sea. Then I saw 2 bridges over the river Jordan, and the devil tempted me and tried to lure me to the one on the right. But I saw through his deception and went against his will. And then I finally saw it, the gateway to the garden of paradise, abundant with foliage. It was guarded by men of straw, but they saw I was a good Christian and let me enter therein.
A cross, nicely carved. Someone in the village might recognize it.
Ask around as he might, the only person who could tell Henry anything about the cross was Godwin, the priest.
Father, I wonder if you could tell me whose cross this is.
I do know, but I'm not sure I can tell you.
I don't understand. Why not?
People said they saw you talking with a vicar. They're afraid that Sir Hannush sent you here to help him.
That's not how it is.
And how is it?
Sir Hannush sent me to find out what he wants, and to get him out of here if possible.
Well, then we share the same interest. But I'd still prefer it to end with nobody burned at the stake.
You and me both.
That's good to hear.
Sir Hannush was quite clear. I'm to see to it that the vicar leaves, and when he finds what he's looking for, he'll go away, won't he?
eventually. But you can't even imagine the horror he can unleash. Where did you find the cross?
Let's do a deal. I'll tell you where I found it, and you tell me whose it is.
Very well. Tell me.
I found it in the woods. It looked like people met there. There were other things, candles, a cloth, and so on.
Damn it. That really does seem like...
That the vicar is right to be looking here. Surprised me, too. So whose is it?
The cross is definitely the Bauers, I remember that. But that just can't be. I can't believe it. If they really are heretics, though...
What do you want to do?
I don't know. But I'll do anything in my power to prevent a heretic witch hunt taking hold here.
If there are any heretics here, they have to be driven out. You mustn't have pity on them, Father. They're like the plague.
Heretics or not, you don't know what you're talking about. I've seen this sort of thing. But very well, if you say so. Still, I'm sure you won't mind if we first find out how things stand.
I see. It wouldn't make Sir Hannush too happy either.
My thoughts exactly. But the question still remains what to do about it. The vicar won't give up till he's found what he wants. You know what, boy? Before we do anything else, we ought to make sure whether there really are heretics here.
What do you propose?
That's simple. Listen to how they say their prayers. Prayers are sacred to all Christians, heretic or devotee. But if they are heretics, they're bound to pray differently.
What do you know about the Bauers?
When I think about it now, they're a little peculiar.
What do you mean?
Well, they do rather keep themselves to themselves. They attend Mass, true enough. They leave the moment it's over. And I've never seen them at a dance or a celebration of any kind. But on the other hand, they give more alms to the needy in the village than anyone. I can't deny them that.
Where did those Bauer folk come from?
I don't really know. I've never spoken to them much, but they've not been here long, only 2 or 3 years.
And the cross? Did you consecrate that for the Bauers themselves?
No. It belonged to the family who lived on the farm before them. That was quite a sad story.
Sir, I suspect there really are heretics in Uzhitz.
Oh, Henry, I fear that vicar's muddled your head. Heretics? Whatever are you talking about?
Really, sir? I found a place in the woods where they congregate. There was a cross there, candles, and everything.
Jesus! So it seems the vicar didn't come to Uzhitz on a whim.
What should I do?
Well, the best thing would still be for the vicar to go back to Prague. But if there really are heretics, oh, good Lord, then you must help him find them, or prove that there are none.
I see.
In any case, I don't want any fuss. If you do find them, deal with them somehow, but make sure that's the end of it. The last thing I need is some kind of witch hunt for heretics. Are we clear?
Yes, I'll make sure of that, sir.
It's fairly obvious that Sir Hannush's preference is still to make sure that the vicar finds nothing, and he doesn't seem particularly concerned about heresy, at least beyond the kind of attention that it seems to bring from the church hierarchy. The simplest way, and the way the game intended, is for Henry to climb up to the loft and listen from there. You can also eavesdrop from beside the windows. You still get all the information, but it does mean you miss out on the cutscenes.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts which we are bound to receive from thy bounty. Through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. They took old Wenzel to the presbytery today. His farm is nearby. It's only a matter of time before...
Before they come for me. I know.
And what are we going to do about it? That vicar is baying for blood, the beast. He will devour you alive.
I do not intend to do anything about it. I shall not waver from my faith, nor turn my back on it.
My dear, what on earth are you saying?
If they come for me, I will go quietly. And I will not lie.
Are you serious? Don't you know what they'll do to you?
I can well imagine. But I am resolved.
The Lord have mercy.
Do not fear. I surrender to God's will. And I do not condemn you if you decide to leave.
I'll stay by your side, although I'd rather that you decided otherwise.
I know. And you have no fear, my brothers in Christ. Stay true to God's plan, as I shall. Go and spread the true faith amongst all good folk.
I'm sorry, I wish there was another way.
You should eat your supper and depart right away. Who knows? You may come for us at dawn.
Unfortunately, witch hunts have a tendency to get out of hand and entangle people who might be perfectly innocent, which explains why Godwin and Sir Hannush are so keen to prevent one taking hold.
So I went to check on the Bauer farm, and I don't have good news.
Do tell.
They most certainly are heretics, at least as far as I can tell.
Are you sure? What did you hear?
Well, for a start, the evening prayers were led by a woman.
That is certainly unusual, but nothing conclusive in itself.
But that's not all. They're afraid the vicar will be coming after them.
Who wouldn't fear that? That swine finds fault with everyone.
Well, it's not like you'd have to try too hard. Mrs. Bauer plans to confess everything.
Confess what exactly?
Most likely her faith. The people of the farm were trying to discourage that, but her mind's made up.
Oh, good Lord, that's all I need. What am I to do?
She's planning to confess. What would you like to do?
You have to talk them out of it, Hal. You must convince them to run.
Convince them? That's easy for you to say. You haven't heard her talking.
I'm sure you'll find a way. You have to try at least. For their own good and for yours, Hal.
I'll have to think about it. Talking to them could be dangerous.
Nonsense. If you haven't told anyone else, then only the two of us know the truth.
And what if they confess anyway in the end, and then say that I tried to warn them?
Well, you have to try to stop that from happening.
The very simple but very naive approach might be to tell the vicar that you found nothing, but anyone who makes it to the vicar's position would be too wily to fall for such a simple scheme. In addition, the vicar himself can't afford to go back empty-handed. It will call into question his competency.
The Bauer family and their entire household.
Well, I expect you to give me some evidence. In the last few days, I've been hearing how practically everyone here is a heretic.
I found that place the captive heretic talked about, and I found a family cross there. It took a bit of asking around, but I learned it belongs to the Bauers. Their farm isn't far from here, to the north. And then all I had to do was go there and do a little spying.
What of it? What did you hear?
Surprisingly, nothing suspicious.
Nothing? And how are they praying?
Normally. They said that prayer just like anyone else.
And they said nothing at all that was out of the ordinary?
Not a word.
That's odd. They are the only people around here who seem likely to be heretics. Well, I suppose I'll have to deal with this matter myself. I have no further use for your services. You may go.
Father, shouldn't I be rewarded for my efforts?
My boy, I sent you to find heretics, and you came back empty-handed.
I told you what I found out, didn't I?
For all the good it did me, I'll no longer be needing your services. And in the future, remember, not everyone wants to hear the truth.
Sir, I'm sorry to say the news from Uzhitz isn't very reassuring.
Jesus Christ, what is it now?
The vicar suspects one family of heresy, and he won't be put off. He wants to keep investigating.
Heresy? Pah! I told you what he's investigating. Whether he can grab one of my villagers for that blasted Archbishop. A thieving swine. Oh, well. I suppose I should have known better than to send a blacksmith's boy to outwit a prelate. The main thing is you're alive and well, Henry. Now run along. I have to figure out what to do.
All right, sir.
Another straightforward way to get the vicar to leave would be to give him exactly what he wants. Handing him the heretics would hopefully stop him from questioning the rest of the villagers. It's not the ideal solution because the church may still suspect heresy and they may come back in the future, but it does get rid of them now.
They were afraid you'd come for them. Some of them were talking about leaving the farm. Seems they're of another faith.
A different faith? Where did you get that from, my boy? There is only one faith, one God, one church. Understood?
Yes, I'm sorry, Monsignor. I didn't express myself well.
You're forgiven, but be careful what you say. A little remark like that could draw the kind of attention you really don't want. Now, to the point. Did you hear their prayer?
Yes, and it was the normal Lord's Prayer. Just at the end, they begged God, if you'll forgive my saying, to rid us of that devil in Rome.
God forgive those poor souls, for they know not what they do.
Then they had a discussion. Mrs. Bauer seems to want to confess to it all, but the others were trying to talk her out of it.
Confess? A heretic who wants to confess? There'll most certainly be more to it than meets the eye.
She seemed pretty determined.
Never trust the word of a heretic. They're the devil's vessels. Remember, he tries his tricks through them.
I'll bear that in mind.
Well, that will probably suffice for me. You did well.
You can also engage in massive hyperbole. It is one way to make sure that the Vicar focuses on the Bauers.
What of it? What did you hear?
Dreadful things. I'm not even sure I should repeat them.
Speak up, boy.
Well, they were invoking Satan and reciting prayers in some strange language I couldn't understand.
What else?
I think they were, pardon me, fornicating. And they shouted something about Lucifer.
Well, that will probably suffice for me. You did well. And for your devotion to Mother Church, you deserve a just reward.
Thank you, Monsignor.
Now please excuse me. I need to arrange for their arrest and interrogation.
Of course.
Good luck, then.
Greetings. What do you need?
It's all sorted out, sir. You've no need to worry about the vicar anymore.
Excellent. Some good news at last. Did it confirm your suspicion?
Yes. They were hidden away on a farm near Uzhitz. Well, not really hidden. They were just living there.
Christ. A man doesn't expect that sort of thing in his own fiefdom. Did you catch them?
I told the vicar everything and he had them arrested. They should be on their way to Kuttenberg by now.
And the vicar's gone with them. It gives me no pleasure to know he hit on something here. It gives him every excuse to return. But it's certainly good news for the moment. Anyway, Henry, thanks for dealing with that vicar. You pulled a thorn from my side. Here's a little token of my gratitude.
Thank you, sir.
Another hidden option is to go back to Sir Hannush now that you confirmed the heresy.
Sir, I have reason to suspect a family in Uzhitz.
Sweet Jesus. So your suspicions were confirmed?
Absolutely.
Bugger it. That's all I need. That vicar sniffing around and heretics to boot.
The question now is, what do I do?
Have you spoken with the vicar?
Not yet. I didn't want to without your orders.
Well, you have to tell him. Now. Immediately.
Very good, sir.
Go back to Uzhitz, tell the vicar what you know, and see to it that he leaves.
You see,
See what?
they didn't look dangerous. In fact, except for a few small things, they didn't act in any way different from ordinary Christian folk.
Don't ever speak that way again. For the love of God, if they're heretics, they belong in the flames. And that is that. I'm no master of theology, and I've had my own disputes with the clergy, but I'll tell you one thing. My whole fiefdom, the whole country, the whole of Christendom stands on unity. And whoever violates that unity is my enemy. It doesn't matter if he violates it by not paying his dues to his liege lord, or by praying in the wrong way. Understand?
I understand. I'm sorry, sir.
No matter. At least it's clear you have a mind of your own. Another man would hurl them onto the fire and not give it a second thought. Oh, it's good that you ask questions, but now is not the right time. You do see that, don't you? To think if anyone else heard you talking like that. God forbid. Now go back to Uzhitz and report what you saw to the vicar. Off you go.
But what if we're united by the wrong things?
What exactly do you mean?
I understand that we have to stand united, but those people were getting along fine with their neighbours in Uzhitz. All they did was pray a little differently. Who did that hurt?
Enough! I don't have the time for a philosophical debate with a blacksmith boy. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's good that you ask questions, but now is not the right time. You do see that, don't you? To think if anyone else heard you talking like that. God forbid.
I would have told the vicar, but the parish priest asked me to warn them instead.
What's that?
I've come here because I don't know what to do.
That Godwin was always a fine one, but this time he's really crossed the line.
He's afraid if they're caught, it could turn into something worse.
Well, so am I. But what the fuck is he thinking? Warning them? If anyone found out, we'd all be burned at the stake with them. You'll go back. You will tell everything to the vicar. Everything you know about the heretics. And you'll tell Godwin that if he tries to interfere, I will personally come over and burn down the roof over his head. Got it?
Clear as day, sir.
You can still try to convince the Bauers
What
to
can I do
leave,
for you?
and a hidden
Our
option
Bauers?
is to speak to the husband.
Do we know each other?
Well, not exactly, but
Then we have nothing to talk about. I'm sorry.
it's not who I am that matters, it's what I know.
I don't understand. And I have quite a bit of work to do, so if you'll excuse me.
I know who you are, and I want to help you.
What do you mean, who I am? Look here, lad. If this is some kind of joke, I've heard better ones. Now, as I said, I have work to attend to.
I know that you're not, well, proper Christians. I overheard you at your supper table.
You spied on us. Let me guess. You're working for that vicar.
As I said, it doesn't matter who I am, but I want to help you, which I won't be able to do if your wife confesses.
Unbelievable. And why should I trust you?
You don't have much of a choice. I thought if you could talk her out of it.
And you think I haven't tried? She simply won't back down. And in truth, I can't fault her for it.
There must be a way.
That's exactly what I told myself at first. Yes, there must be a way. It must be resolved somehow. I think of nothing else, day and night, except how to pull ourselves from the fire. And however much I deliberate, all I can think, God forgive me, is that there's probably only one solution. One way we can be saved.
Which is?
I can hope that God will have mercy on us, and something will happen to the vicar before he takes me and my wife in for questioning, but just the thought that I'm wishing for another man's death. Christ forgive me.
There's no need to upset yourself. It's understandable. You're only human.
Indeed I am. But I thought I was a better man than that. But enough of this. I'm not here to bare my soul to some servant of the vicar's.
I'm not asking you to. I'll try to have a word with your wife.
As you wish. But Steadfast could be her middle name. That's one of the reasons I married her.
Oh well, at least I tried.
Is in God's hands. And as far as I'm concerned, you ought to examine your conscience and think about who it is you serve. God gives us just one chance in this world, and you're wasting yours by aiding and abetting Satan's pawn.
You're right. That's why I want to help you.
See you later.
The husband isn't much help, unfortunately, and the only way to convince Mistress Bauer to leave is to pass a very difficult speech check. This is the only part of the game where I feel that the speech boost from a bard potion is a must.
Mistress Bauer,
What is it you need?
I've come to ask something of you.
Have you? And just who are you, young man?
That doesn't matter. The important thing is that I want to help you and your husband.
I admit that I'm a little confused. You've come to ask me something, but at the same time you want to help me. What's going on?
I want to ask you not to confess to the vicar. Just take your husband and get out of here while there's still time.
I have no idea why you're so taken with my fate, or how you found out about my intentions, but I'll tell you one thing. Changing my mind is out of the question. I won't betray my faith, nor my brothers in Christ.
What about your husband? What will become of him? I hope you're not expecting them to let him live.
My husband has made up his mind freely to stay with me, and I'll decide the same if the tables were turned. You may be right, but I can't lie. It's against all my teaching.
You won't have to lie if you're never asked any questions. Just leave. You can preach elsewhere. I'm sure you have lots of friends who'd love to take you in.
But I don't want to run.
No one wants to run away, but sometimes we have no choice. If you run, your faith will live on. That must mean something.
You're right. I shouldn't give in so easily. I've just grown so weary of the endless persecution.
You should pack up and run away as soon as you can. The vicar might get here any minute.
Thank you.
Don't delay. Believe me, I know how cowardly it feels to flee. What it's like to abandon your nearest and dearest when they need you most.
Then you must understand why I can't do the same.
I do. But I also know that if I died that day, I would have achieved nothing by it. Whereas this way, I live on.
And what are you living for? Revenge?
Maybe. What of it? The important thing is that I'm alive, and I still have a life to do with as I please, and so could you. You can convert more people to your creed, instead of being scoffed at as they drag you to the pyre.
I'm sorry, but I just can't act otherwise. I've had enough of persecution, of living in fear and hiding who I truly am. I want to live and die in God's truth, not falsehood.
But that's madness.
You'd better go. And although I don't quite understand your motives, I thank you for your words.
If you fail to convince her, you can go back and commiserate with Godwin.
I tried to talk to them, but it was hopeless. That woman is adamant about turning herself in.
It's all the same now, Henry. I got word from the presbytery that the vicar's getting ready to catch them.
God almighty. What are we going to do?
There's not much we can do now. No one's going to stand in the vicar's way. They're taking them to Kuttenberg now, where the pyre awaits them.
I am sorry, but after all, they had a chance to flee. They knew what fate was looming.
I know, but still.
It's my fault. I should have persuaded them.
Now, there's no need for that, Hal. You simply need to learn your lesson and not get drawn into such filthy dealings again.
When Sir Hannush commands, I can hardly refuse. And if I hadn't been here, who'd have tried to talk them out of it?
You're quite right. You're lucky you weren't dragged down with them. If the vicar had found out you warned them, well, it doesn't bear thinking about.
Don't let it trouble you. They were decent, but people who throw their lives away like that can't be right in the head.
Can they not? I don't know. They have their truth, and they cling to it. Tooth and nail, which is all too uncommon nowadays.
At the end of the day, they were heretics, after all.
I know. But they were also decent people.
Maybe. But they went against the order of things, and they knew they'd be punished for it. Who knows if you wouldn't be the one on the pyre if they'd had time to spread their teaching around here. Did you ever think of that?
No. I try to see the good in people.
That's the difference then. I always see both sides. Now stop worrying about it and have a drink.
Regardless of the fate of the Bauers, this still counts as a success from Sir Hannush's perspective.
It's all sorted out, sir. You've no need to worry about the vicar anymore.
Excellent. Some good news at last. What about the family you suspected?
They were the heretics, sir.
I hope you reported it all to the vicar, as I commanded.
I told the vicar everything and he had them arrested. They should be on their way to Kuttenberg by now.
And the vicar's gone with them. It gives me no pleasure to know he hit on something here. It gives him every excuse to return. But it's certainly good news for the moment. Anyway, Henry, thanks for dealing with that vicar. You pulled a thorn from my side. Here's a little token of my gratitude.
Thank you, sir.
When Henry spoke to Farmer Bauer, another possibility did present itself. You can make sure that the vicar meets with an unfortunate accident. As you might imagine, this is a very dumb option. Yes, it does get rid of the vicar, but it also guarantees that the church hierarchy will be paying special attention to this area.
Very well then. Suppose that something were to happen to the vicar.
What are you talking about?
I'm saying I'll take care of it.
No, that's out of the question.
That man is dangerous. Not just for you, but for everyone in Uzhitz. Can you imagine what will be let loose once your wife confesses?
My God, I wish I could find it in me to forbid you from doing it. But I hadn't realized until now who else we'd put in jeopardy.
I'd prefer not to have to do it, but there's no other way.
I don't know what to say.
Don't say anything. Don't let it trouble you for a moment. The bastard deserves it. It will be my pleasure.
My God, what have I got myself into?
It's all sorted out, sir. You've no need to worry about the vicar anymore.
Excellent. Some good news at last.
That depends how you look at it.
What is it now, Henry?
It's the vicar. He's He's dead.
What? For fuck's sake, what are you trying to tell me? What the hell happened?
Someone killed him. Probably some passing brigands? For his coin. Who knows?
Passing brigands, eh? I don't suppose you had anything to do with it, did you? No, don't even answer that. I wouldn't want to have to lie to the Archbishop's court. And now get out! I have to figure out what to do with this fucking mess.
As you wish, sir.
What the hell happened?
Someone killed him. Maybe it was the heretics. They found out what he was planning and took action.
Oh, god damn it! I should have anticipated that and sent someone with you. Never mind! Run along now, Henry. I have to figure out what to do about this.
Yes, sir.
The Bauers.
If you manage to convince the Bauers to leave, they will vacate the farmhouse. And it's important to wait at least a couple of days before going back to the Vicar, because if you don't give the Bauers a head start, the Vicar will track them down, and all this effort will be for naught. Convincing the Bauers to flee and getting the Vicar to chase after them is by far the best solution. It gives the Bauers a chance to live, but it also makes sure that the Vicar leaves Uzhitz and doesn't get a chance to accuse anybody else of heresy.
Spying?
What of it? What did you hear?
Nothing at all. The farm was deserted, not a living soul anywhere.
Ha! They fled. So they are heretics.
What will you do, Monsignor?
It's not the first time the devil's spawn has fled from me. I'll do the same as always. Track them down and capture them. Don't worry, they won't get far. Thank you for your help. You may leave.
It's all sorted out, sir. You've no need to worry about the Vicar anymore.
Excellent. Some good news at last. What about the family you suspected?
They were the heretics, sir.
I hope you reported it all to the Vicar, as I commanded.
No, they ran away. The Vicar's investigation wasn't exactly low-key. Anyway, they've definitely fled beyond your estate.
Well, that's at least something. And the Vicar?
He's probably hot on their heels.
Well, I hope he doesn't come back. Anyway, Henry, thanks for dealing with that Vicar. You pulled a thorn from my side.
As a reward for protecting his fief, Sir Hannush awards you St. Michael's sword, symbolizing Henry's role as defender of the faith.
I warned them, sir. They ran away.
Warned them? You warned them? For fuck's sake, Henry, have you lost your mind? Why the hell did you do that?
They didn't look dangerous. In fact, except for a few small things, they didn't act in any way different from ordinary Christian folk.
This is exactly the same rant that Sir Hannush engaged in previously. Given his initial attitude to the Vicar and the first signs of heresy, it's highly likely that his anger is more about forestalling suspicions of heresy than it is about actual religious fervor, or even about Henry questioning those practices. It's clearly more about the physical and political consequences of being seen asking those questions. As the Vicar himself said,
Remember, not everyone wants to hear the truth.
thanks for watching all the way to the end. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified when new videos come out. See you soon.